Please like and subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and leave a comment saying I subscribed. We'll ensure we reply. Hello, I'm from Mexico and my family is somewhat rich. That is the reason we have a servant residing with us who does the housework. She likewise has a little girl considered Maria who's 1 year more established than me. When he never talked much since Maria wasn't permitted to leave her little chamber except if she assisted with the housework or needed to go to class. I realize we didn't treat her well, however. A couple of months prior she began giving me eye contact, and I generally grinned back at her. I mean, she was very gorgeous. I even had a go at conversing with her, yet she was excessively timid and couldn't draw out a solitary word. Yet one Saturday morning she came into my space to bring me breakfast. I told her, gracious, wow, that looks magnificent, many thanks. That is the point at which I saw that she was wearing a fairly noteworthy outfit. She put the morning meal on my bed, knelt and said, sir, might I at any point do you some other blessing? Wow. I could see her bra, and it was so stimulating. I offered her to plunk down on my bed and have the morning meal with me together. It was whenever we first had a genuine discussion, and following a couple of moments she said, it's freezing in here. I answered, I'm sorry, the cooling is areas of strength for excessively. You can go under my sweeping. Unexpectedly we were laying right close to one another with my legs contacting hers. I even put my hand on her thighs. Things were perfect until my mother came into the room. She saw us and said, good gracious, what are you doing? How is it that you could lay down with a young lady like her? Maria was so humiliated she ran outside. In the meantime I attempted to clear up for my mother that we hadn't laid down with one another, yet my mother answered, she just needs to get pregnant by you, so she gets our cash. While my mother generally saw the most terrible and others, no big surprise, she was a horrendous individual herself. I mean, our housekeeper was residing with us for quite a long time. We actually dealt with her like a useless worker. My family didn't pay for Maria's school expenses, however I enjoyed her a ton, and we began seeing each other in secret. I actually recall whenever she first came into my room that she was as yet modest and just said hello. I stood up and said, wow, you look wonderful, yet she was so apprehensive she was unable to try and look at me without flinching. I had never felt more excited. She was wearing a short dark dress, and I was unable to help myself. I put my hand on her wrist and pulled her towards me. Then I got her hair, pulled it back and kissed her. This was the first of numerous evenings we spent together. However, at that point it happened. She let me know she was pregnant. I was befuddled and said, yet we generally use security. How is it that this could happen? She said she didn't know either, yet I had a doubt. Perhaps you need to left with one another. She had looked through the garbage and taken out my insurance. Obviously that is simply a doubt. In any case, it was difficult to educate my folks regarding the child. The two of them went nuts, and my father even needed to toss him a red on the roads. I was stunned and said, no, I love her and I need to be her sweetheart. She isn't as terrible of a young lady as you suspect. I surmise my folks were frustrated. I wouldn't wed a young lady from a decent family, yet I truly didn't mind. Maria was an exquisite young lady, and she was conveying my child anyway. In the initial not many months of our relationship I discovered that we were very unique. I would rather not sound self-important, however, Maria was less taught than me, and I didn't appreciate conversing with her much. I actually attempted to be mindful father, yet when I turned 18, I attended my most memorable party. It was so insane with that multitude of delightful young ladies. I remained dedicated that evening and didn't kiss or lay down with another young lady. Yet a short time later I began feeling quite skeptical about my relationship with Maria. Perhaps I wasn't prepared for a family and things deteriorated. When I went to college there were such countless pretty young ladies and a large number of them were playing with me. I just couldn't endure anything else, so I went to Maria and said, I realize you'll be furious, however I need an open relationship. She began crying and said, no, that is a little unreasonable, except for I answered, I'm only excessively youthful for a serious relationship. I'm sorry, I was a douche. Since Maria had no way out, she was unable to leave me. Since she had no cash, she was reliant upon me, and as horrendous as it sounds, I am similar to that, since it caused me to feel strong. Well, after Maria had conceived an offspring, my folks leased us a little loft close to my college where we moved in. However, I celebrated frequently and, surprisingly, brought young ladies home, and yes, I brought them into a similar bed my sweetheart was lying in. She would go about as though she was sleeping more often than not. Yet one night I was tanked, awakened her and inquired as to whether she needed to go along with us, yet she recently began crying and ran outside. That demolished my state of mind and I was sorry to her. A while later, golly, I realized I was such a jerk. However, I actually proceeded with one of my number one young ladies I was dating was Mathil. She was knowledgeable and entertaining. I told her I had an open relationship with my better Half and afterward I inquired as to whether she needed to move in with us. She was hesitant from the outset, yet at long last concurred it was so abnormal when I acquainted her with Maria. The first said, "Maria, this is Matilda. We've been seeing each other for half a month at this point, and I believe she should turn out to be essential for our relationship." I could see Maria was furious. Obviously she needed me for herself, yet that wouldn't occur. And a three-way relationship was still better compared to me saying a final farewell to Maria. Then I pulled the two of them near me, and we as a whole kissed each other. Golly, it was one of the most thrilling snapshots of my life. However, it got far better subsequently. We likewise undeniably rested in a similar bed which I cherished, yet they didn't get along so well and frequently offended each other. Their contention heightened when Matilda scratchily utilized Maria's towel. Maria blew a gasket, and they wound up truly battling each other wearing short jeans on my bed. It sounds horrible in any case. It excited me to see them battle about me anyway. I actually separated the battle to ensure nobody got injured in the end. Maria and I concluded it couldn't proceed with like that. Now my folks are paying her $1,000 every month to lease her own loft where she brings up my girl. I deal with my little girl on the ends of the week and I truly appreciate being a father. However, college is more significant at the present time, so I can get a decent line of work one day and give well to both my girl and Maria. Quite a while in the past I found a little child monkey on the road. His mom was no place around, so I chose to bring him back home with me. We were truly poor, so to take care of him I needed to starve myself. However, he continued to develop increasingly big, which implied he wanted increasingly more food. I was getting so slight I was near death, and my mother constrained me to let him go. I was crying as I opened the entryway and he ran outside. I felt like I had lost an old buddy. However, following a couple of hours I heard a knock at the entryway, so I opened it up and there was my monkey companion again. He was holding 4 bananas and gave one to me, one to my sister and one to my mother. Obviously we said thanks to the monkey and advised him to go get more bananas, yet this opportunity he returned with 1 papaya and 1 mango. We figured he probably taken them from the market. Well, this happened for a long time, yet on one occasion he returned with a little gold jewelry. It was wonderful, so the following day I gave it to a young lady in my group named Ananya. She was significantly less fortunate than we were. Her mom had passed on, so she needed to function as a house cleaner for my malevolent colleague Champak. Subsequent to going to class the entire day, Champak dealt with her like a worker. He made her convey his books all over, and he cherished yapping orders at her before the entire class. I put the neckband around her neck, and she looked so gorgeous she gave me a kiss on my cheek and said thank you. However, the following day she returned crying. She said Champak took the jewelry from her and blame her for taking it. He was truly spiteful to her about it and rebuffed her by making her scour his room with a toothbrush. I needed to battle Champak. I needed to end him, yet he was pretty much areas of strength for as a developed man, other than that his dad was strong and could undoubtedly get back at my mother and sister. He could have done horrendous things to them. I was crushed and returned home inclination vulnerable. However, at that point I saw my monkey bring us more bananas, and that gave me a thought. I'd prepared him to take from Champak's home. Perhaps he'd try and discover significant stuff to carry me to prepare him. I concealed a phony brilliant wristband around our home whenever he found it. I compensated him with a tad of chocolate. Once the monkey was thoroughly prepared I took him to eat Hatchet Place. There was an enormous wall around it, yet everything looked great in light of the fact that my monkey companion could climb it effectively. He bounced from the wall onto the house and went in through a window. I didn't see the monkey for a few minutes and afterward I heard a shout coming from inside the house. I was getting anxious. However, at that point my monkey returned moving down the wall, and he was conveying a gold neckband with a lovely stone. He gave it to me, and I reserved it in my pocket. I began running toward home. However, my moronic monkey returned inside Champ Hatchet house while I returned home safe and sound. My monkey didn't make it. The following day I returned the Champion Bull house to search for my companion. There I saw a banner. It said, "Assuming you need this monkey, give us back our gems." That monkey had been my companion. I cherished him without a doubt, and I preferred not to lose him, yet the adornments he'd given me was sufficiently worth to get a pious devotee Yahweh from John Buck's family. So my mother and I went to one more city to sell the neckband securely. We took the best proposition and got back home with $60,000. That is a tremendous measure of cash. In my country it was sufficient that my mother and I could purchase a little house. We welcomed Ananya to reside with us for nothing, and she appears to be significantly more joyful since she turned into a piece of our family. Finally, I need to thank my monkey companion. Thanks to him, we can carry on with an agreeable life. Please like and subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and leave a comment saying I subscribed. We'll ensure we reply.